What's up, guys? Big Papa Leads here. Today I'm going to do a quick video about how to price your leads. This is kind of an impromptu video based on a boot camp. Oh, gotta close my stripe there. Based on a boot camp question we had. So we had JT Martin here asking about how to price leads. He was asking ChatGPT, what are the highest kind of lead costs that are on the market, and what came back was this. So we've got roofing leads, 10 to 30K per job. They pay 100 to 500. HVAC 50 to 200. Junk removal 30 to 150. Pressure washing 30 to 100. We'll pay big for home loan leads. 1,000 per lead for lawyers. So I actually really like that ChatGPT gave a range here, because the truth is, this is a math equation at the end of the day, and obviously the math needs to work. The client needs to make a profit, and depending on the close percentage of the leads, that's obviously going to determine the price that you can demand for them. So when someone says in the bootcamp, how much are roofing leads sold for? It's like, well, there's a lot of variables there. So I'm going to break it down for you guys here. By the way, this is in our bootcamp. We just hit 170 members. You can join for $99 down below. You get access to an entire course. We have a bunch of different coaches teaching everything from life insurance to Google to roofing to AI. So join it, dude. It's the best, dude or gal. And you can also join the Leadbase free as well if you just want to get a little taste of what we're doing. So Leadbase free is linked down below as well. It's free. And there's a new replay on how we use AI to split test ads, and it's freaking legit. So check it out. That is every video I do a little ad for those, if you guys haven't picked up on that yet. That's the sponsor of the channel, guys. I don't really do collabs or anything because no one wants me, because I'm not a big enough channel. All right, so let's break this down. Would you say these numbers are BS? No, I would not, JT. So it all comes down to what the leads convert at, like I said. So let's just go with an example of someone makes $10,000 for a job. Let's say it's a roof. That would apply to solar, HVAC, a lot of home service stuff. Sometimes mortgage brokers can make a couple grand. Legal, like lawyers and stuff like that, can make well over 10 grand, well over 10 grand per deal. But all these different niches convert at different amounts. So lawyers, I feel like, are probably on the lower end of conversion. Life insurance might be on the higher end. You might convert 20% of leads. I've seen that happen in life insurance, but the leads are cheaper, and there's a smaller kind of a customer value. Like a life insurance agent might make $1,000 or $2,000 off a deal, not 10,000. So if Facebook leads convert at 5%, that means it's going to take 20 leads to get a deal. If Google leads convert at 20%, that means it will take just 5 leads to get a deal. So we have to think about this when we're pricing our leads. So this is also, like, most people are going to want to work a lead like this, right? Google search leads are much tougher to get. But if they only have to work 5 leads to get a deal, they're probably going to want to do that instead of 20 leads to get a deal. But it's not always perfect like that. You can't always just get unlimited search leads. Facebook leads are usually more scalable. So there's lots of pros and cons to all these things, right? So let's say that if this Facebook example is 5% close, that means it's 20 leads to get a deal. And if you sell leads for $100, let's just say that's your arbitrary cost. You're trying to figure out what to charge for these leads. Then it will cost a roofer $2,000 to make 10K, because we're doing $100 times 20 leads is $2,000. And they're going to make $10,000. Wait, I totally did that wrong. Oh, no, I did it right. I was tripping. I thought I did the math wrong. So if we give them 20 leads, they're going to close one of them. And that's going to cost them $2 grand for those leads at $100 per lead. They're going to make $10,000, which sounds decent. That's a 5-to-1 kind of top line ROI. But after the costs, maybe he's profiting. This might be a little bit conservative. Like if we went, let's just use the sheet. I'll jump right to the sheet, guys. So let's say like his COGS is 50%. Okay, so his cost of goods sold, all his materials, his labor for installing that roof is 50% of the job that he's working on. Okay, let's just go to 10 leads for this example. Actually 20 for the example that we're using. So 20 leads, lead costs 100, 5% close. The customer long-term value, it's obviously just kind of, it's going to be a one-shot thing for a roofer, is 10 grand. Cost per sale is 2,000. Top line ROI, like I said, is 5-to-1 ROI. So again, that sounds really good, but we have to figure out, is he actually going to profit off of this? So if there's $10,000 revenue per 100 leads, oh, sorry, not per 100 leads, because I changed this. So revenue per 20 leads, I'm just doing this based on our example, per 20 leads, and this is just calculating the revenue, like we just said, based on this example. So 20 leads, 5% close, they're going to make 10 grand. The cost of those leads is $2,000. assuming the job cost is 50% COGS. Again, I'm not a roofer. I don't know. Maybe it's less than that. It's $5,000 for them to do the job, and then their gross profit. This isn't really their gross profit, but their gross profit in terms of like, our simple calculation here is that they're profiting $3,000, and they spent $2,000. So they spent $2,000 to make $3,000. I mean, they made a profit. This might be an equation that works for a roofer, but to be competitive, we might need to be a little bit better on this. So let's say we can get our leads for way cheaper on Facebook, and we start charging $75. Hey, look, he just started to make a 2.3 ROI. This is usually the number I advertise because this sounds a lot better. So you can tell a roofer, for every dollar you spend, we usually see people make a 6x revenue or whatever. And then you can kind of let him flesh that out for himself or herself. But I tend to kind of go with this number, but it is good to consider this, because if you start working with someone and let's just say you're charging, $125 per lead, and the gross ROI is, in this case, is 1. They spent $2,500, and at the end of the day, they're only profiting $2,500. That's not a recipe for success. So in terms of pricing the leads, how do we do this? We have to kind of reverse engineer this. It's a weird way to say reverse engineer this to be able to figure out what we're going to charge per lead. So that's not always easy, and that's why I actually like to kind of get an estimate or a ballpark. Obviously, you can ask in the bootcamp like you have. That's totally fine. I'd like to kind of go with this 5%, because when you're starting out, your leads aren't going to be great. 5% is probably like a benchmark that you're going to be working from. You might even see 3%, honestly. Like sometimes when you're starting out, Facebook is not great. You're going to have to optimize things. You're going to have to improve your lead quality over time. So you got to mess around with these numbers a little bit. This sheet is in, I think it's in free as well. It's pretty straightforward. You guys could make this yourself, or just DM me and I'll give it to you if you join the school. So incentive to join the free school, guys. But work around with this and I think go with 5%. I think that's pretty good. There are people that start out, they're trying lead forms, and lead forms close at like 2%. That is possible. In which case, hopefully you're getting those lead forms for so freaking cheap, you can sell them for something like this, right? So this is all just a math equation. Let's do another example. So let's say that we're doing, let's not use solar. Let's use like the lawyer situation, like a personal injury lawyer, okay? Those guys can make, I think based off what JT said here, they'll pay $1,000 per lead. But I know, like, let's say they're suing for, I don't know, $100,000. They probably take 25%, or they're getting, somebody car accident relief money or whatever. Their close is going to be probably lower because it has to be a certain type of case that works out. Let's even go with 3%. And again, you're going to have to do some of your own research to kind of figure this out. You're going to talk to people. You're going to see what other people are charging. You're going to try and figure out, maybe, ask the first client you get on a call with. So, what kind of percentage of leads you usually close from social media? Maybe they don't know, but maybe they'll tell you, and then you can really quickly in your mind, boom, 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 do a little calculation based on that, right? So, for the sake of numbers, I'll do this. Lead costs for personal injury. I've not been in that space myself. I feel like you're probably paying $50 a lead or something like that. There's huge customer long-term value here. I don't even like this. Let's say closed deal value. The long-term value kind of makes a little bit more sense in like the financial space, but it's not that, it's relevant for sure for like something like life insurance, because they might sell life insurance, then they might sell like a financial product after, but let's just say initial closed deal value, okay? So 20 leads, this is what you're getting them for. Let's say you're selling them for 100, because I know you can definitely sell personal injury leads from, up to $500, okay? So 20 leads, $100 per lead, closed deal value is $25,000, cost per sale is only $2,000. They're only spending, same as the roofing example, but they're making more, $2,000 cost per sale. Top line ROI, 12.5, which is really solid. The problem with lawyers is that they're probably not as good at working leads, depending on how big they are. Some of the big billboard lawyers probably have a call center, but it just depends. The other thing here is they have to win the case to get paid usually. So, hopefully they're only taking on cases they can win. Again, there's a lot of variables here. Don't let any of this overwhelm you though. Just keep it simple. Go with a simple 5% calculation and kind of work your way from there. Revenue per 20 leads, $25,000 cost, assuming they're going to have a COGS for lawyers, but $12,500, gross profit $10,500. Okay, so they're at 5 to 1 ROI, 5.25, 1 to 1 ROI. yeah, so hopefully that was helpful, guys. Again, I get a lot of questions on this. Use this calculator. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to go through the motions with your first client and kind of figure out, is this working? They spent $5,000 with me and they made $15,000. And if they're happy and they keep going with it, maybe you can raise prices on the next. So it's always a little bit of trial and error and kind of guesstimating as you go about with this. So again, hope that was helpful, guys. Join the free school in the link below, and we'll see you in the next video.